there, Erin here with MK Enterprises. Welcome to week 7 of our 52-week journey, incorporating health and wellness into our everyday for a healthier, more well life. And so, as a reminder, I'm a mom, a wife, business owner, publisher. I have my own business and I'm in my late 40s, starting to feel the effects and symptoms of perimenopause and some hormonal imbalances, and really on this journey trying to be healthier and bring more wellness into my life as well as my family's life. I'm taking all the research that I've done for my books like Cortisol Detox Success and Women's Wellness Playbook for Success, both found on Amazon and TikTok, taking all the research that I did to put into these books and applying it to my everyday life. So working on different wellness activities that help me on this 52-week journey transform, but then also set myself up for future success. So if you're on this journey with me, welcome. Happy to have you here for week 7. And so for week 7, we're specifically going to be talking about outdoors and the benefit of getting outdoors, getting out in nature. And so to even emphasize this, you might notice I am outdoors. Big tree behind me. You might hear some of the birds and insects chirping around as I think about taking in the senses and the surroundings of being outside. And so during this time, we're going to talk about the benefits of being outside, the benefits of getting out with nature. We're going to talk about things that you might have heard about and seen, like forest bathing, grounding, but also talk about science-backed, research-backed benefits of getting outside and getting things like sunlight, getting movement, and being mindful to nature around us, which is beautiful. So let's start with sunlight. So sunlight is really important for 2 reasons. One, it helps us to produce vitamin D. And vitamin D is really important to our body for a couple things. It supports bone health, it supports muscle health, it supports our immune system, as well as it has benefits around us mentally and psychologically around helping to de-stress, helping with anxiety. And so it's nice to get outside, get that morning sunlight, that afternoon sunlight, and it doesn't take a lot. You can spend a few minutes in the morning, a couple minutes in the afternoon, in the evening, and that sunlight helps our body produce more vitamin D, which helps our overall health and wellness. Another benefit of sunlight and getting sunlight every day is to support our circadian rhythm. So many of us, if you're like me, we have trouble sleeping, staying asleep, falling asleep, so many distractions, so much on our mind. Well, when we support our circadian rhythm or our sleep-awake schedule, it helps with our sleep in the evening. So if you get outside early in the day, you wake up, within the first hour of waking up, getting outside, you get that sunlight, your body knows it's awake time. And this helps as you start to wind down in the evening and your body starts to produce the melatonin to help you go to sleep. It helps to know when that sun is starting to go down. You might go for an evening walk, and that naturally starts to put your body into more of a sleep mode and starts to naturally bring your body and your hormones into a sleep system. So that sunlight helps with that circadian rhythm. So we'll talk about some routines to start to incorporate getting outside, getting sunlight into your day toward the end of this video. The second thing that's science-backed is movement. And so probably in every video I've incorporated discussions about movement in some way. But getting outside naturally invokes movement. So it's not too often that you go outside and you can just sit outside. Now, you can enjoy it. I know I like to sit outside and maybe enjoy a cup of coffee or do some reading outside. But it also invokes movement. Going for a walk, doing some gardening, working in the yard, playing with the kids, walking the dog. And so there's things that are tied to being outside with movement. And we know that there's tons of benefits, research back benefits of movement. It helps with our cardiovascular system. It helps with our blood pressure. It helps with our blood sugar levels. It helps with our mood. It helps with stress and anxiety. It also helps with our immune system overall and inflammation. So there's a number of ways that movement helps us, and it's gentle movement. We're not talking about, like we've talked about in other videos, it's not intense, laborious work in the yard. That's going to be hard on your body. It's not non-stop running out in nature. That's going to be hard on your body. Not saying you never do it, but when we're talking about nice impacts and beneficial impacts of being outside and movement, it's those gentle acts, those gentle things where we're enjoying the outside, taking in the beautiful outside, as well as incorporating movement. The other piece of being outside is around mindfulness. And so when we're outside again, it's natural to start to incorporate mindfulness, or it's important to incorporate mindfulness, thinking about and feeling and being outside. So don't just go outside. You go outside, you hear the birds, you hear the wind, you feel the grass on your feet, you see the blue sky, you see the sunshine, you see the greenery. And so experiencing this and feeling this, it makes you more mindful of what's around you and more thoughtful of what's around you and taking that in. And mindfulness has been proven to help reduce stress, help with anxiety. It helps with overall psychological and mental benefits in general. And so getting outside, think of it as, while being outside doesn't make you happy, when you think about being outside, being mindful, thinking about things that help to reduce the stress and anxiety, you're naturally going to start to be happier, enjoy life, be joyous, be calm, and enjoy your surroundings. So those are some science and research-backed benefits of getting outside, which is fantastic. Some things that you might have heard about, like forest bathing and grounding, are beneficial. Not for the act of themselves, but because they make you be more mindful. The whole act of grounding, the whole act of forest bathing is really a mindfulness exercise, which again helps with the stress, the anxiety, helps to bring calm to your life, helps to bring more energy back to your everyday. So let's talk about forest bathing for a minute. So it's not a bath. Forest bathing is really just getting out in nature and being mindful of what's around you. So just like we talked about with mindfulness, so let's take the tree behind me. We see it moving, we can hear the wind rustling the leaves, we can see the green of the leaves, we can smell the fragrance of the tree and the flowers around it. So that's what forest bathing is. You get into an environment like a forest preserve, a park, a garden. You could even start in your backyard, and you start to sense everything around you that is nature. You hear the birds chirping. You might have a stream nearby or a pond. That is very soothing as well. There's benefits of water running and water nearby that are soothing for the soul. And so there might be some streams or creeks or rivers nearby that you hear that running water and that calming sound as well. So that's what forest bathing is, and that's a great thing to incorporate. I specifically like to do a more intense forest bathing on the weekend. So obviously weekdays are so crazy, and we'll talk about a daily schedule to start to incorporate getting outside. But on the weekends, it's nice to pick a forest preserve nearby or a large park or open area where you can take a little bit more time than just 5 or 10 minutes. And if you have a dog or another pet that you can take outside, take them with you. If you have a spouse, a parent, a partner, kids, you can take them with you and start to incorporate the forest bathing and the mindfulness in nature as well. But that's one where I try to spend a little bit more time on one of the days of the weekend when we have just a little bit more time and can take in nature all around us. And the nice thing is right now it's warmer, so the days are longer, it's warmer outside, it's quite a bit easier to get outside and spend more time in nature. As we get through our 52-week journey and as it starts to get colder, we'll talk more about incorporating getting outside when it's cold out, because that's when it's a bit harder to get outside and get outside safely. Another thing I just want to call out is it's important to be safe when you're outside. If you're going to be outside for extended periods, make sure you're using sunscreen. While sunlight is great, we don't want to overexpose either. Also, at least we've experienced it where I'm from, is some air quality issues. So whether it be wildfires, forest fires, pollution, you just want to be cautious of your air quality. It's important to get outside, but it's also important to be cautious of any issues that might be going on in your area. So again, take advantage of the beautiful weather, take advantage of the longer days, but also be cautious of things like that and making sure you're protecting yourself from too much sun exposure as well. The other thing, so you've probably seen grounding or earthing as another opportunity. And again, this ties back to mindfulness. So for those of you that don't know, grounding is really the act of putting your feet and even your hands into the grass or sand or touching trees. So it's the act of you touching, feeling the ground, the dirt, the grass, the sand. And so it has been known that this is going to help with things like cortisol or stress. Now, there's not research backing that says that they're directly related. It's more tied to the mindfulness. And there's a lot of research, again, that says that mindfulness is helpful for stress, anxiety, cortisol management, etc. So when you are grounding or earthing, you're touching, feeling the grass, the sand, the dirt, you think about what you're doing. You think about the feel. How does it feel on your feet or your hands? How does it smell? And you can be aware of the things around you. Again, mindfulness activity that's really helpful out in nature. So now let's talk a little bit about how to incorporate getting outside into your daily routine. We're all busy. We have a million things going on between spouses, partners, kids, pets, professional jobs, extracurricular activities, that it's hard to get outside time in. I can't believe, like, summertime, you still have trouble between all the things that you're trying to get done, going all over the place, trying to get the deadlines done for work. And so summer sometimes just slips by and you miss the beautiful weather. Well, personally, I like the fall the best. I'm looking forward to, as we shift into fall, a little bit cooler weather, but still somewhat longer days, somewhat nicer days. That'll be fun. I'll probably be doing more of my forest bathing then. But anyway, I digress. So think about your daily activities. So I had mentioned that early sunlight is really beneficial for helping your circadian rhythm. So think about just a couple minutes, up to 5 minutes in the morning. You can have it with your coffee. You can take your dog out for a walk. You can get the kids to the bus. You can do a little reading or journaling outside. Just a couple minutes to get your body going and feeling that sunlight and feeling that morning awakeness. Midday, maybe after lunch, try to schedule time in your day, even as a busy professional, to get outside and go for a walk. Just take about 10 minutes. Take a 10-minute walk, get outside, get the body going, get that movement going after your meal for lunch, because you should be eating lunch. Like we've talked about before, 3 balanced meals a day. So have your lunch and then go for a walk. There's so many benefits of it, not just being outside in nature, being mindful in nature, but also the movement, the help with digestion, etc. Then in the evening, It's good to do a walk after dinner as well. If you can't get a walk in after dinner, maybe just again spend 5 minutes. Maybe have your warm herbal tea at night in the evening. Just step outside in the evening. Take the dog for a walk. There's several things that you could do, but trying to get those 3 different times in. So you're getting about 5 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes midday, and then in the evening, let's say 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what you have time for. That starts to incorporate being outside into your day. And then from there, as you have time, as you get used to this, as you start to feel the sense of calm and stress relief that comes with being outside and being in nature and feeling and sensing nature, you can start to add more time. And the other thing is as I mentioned, we all know that sometimes weekends are a little bit easier depending on the activity schedule for some of you out there. But typically weekends you have a little bit more time maybe than the weekdays. So maybe the weekdays, that's when you spend that 3 periods of 5 to 10 minutes. And then on the weekends, you find a day where you can spend more time immersing yourself in nature, going for a nice hike, going for a long walk in a forest preserve. So that way you can enjoy the feel of nature. So thanks again for joining me for week 7 of our 52-week journey. I hope this was helpful. I hope you go outside and start to enjoy nature more, get your sunlight, your vitamin D, get your movement, start to feel that sense of calm of going outside, really relieving some stress, relieving some anxiety. And I will see you next week. Enjoy.